Hello, everybody. Welcome to Yoga for Self-Love with Kim. I am Kim. This will be a short, gentle practice today. Let's get into our bodies and move gently, slowly, calmly. This will be pretty soft practice with just a touch of strong. We'll bring in just a little tiny bit of core. So bring yourself to your mat. If you have a yoga strap, grab that, and a yoga block if you have it, or you could use a belt, bathrobe tie, sash, anything like that. A book if you don't have a block. And if you don't have any of that stuff, no big deal. We're just gonna use that for the beginning of our practice, moving into a constructive rest position. So if you have the strap and the block, grab it. You want to make your strap, put a loop on it so it's going to go around the legs, so about hip width distance. We will find our way down onto our back. So you can take your strap, put your legs through it, and then again make sure the strap is about hip width distance. The strap will go around the thighs, and then your block you can tuck right in between your knees. So the strap will keep the legs from falling out. The block will prevent the knees from falling in. So you have the legs in this hip width position. And then slowly lower your torso down to the mat, the head, shoulders. And make yourself comfortable. So adjust yourself as necessary. And then if it feels okay for you, close your eyes or just find a soft and steady gaze. And allow yourself to land. You've got the block and the strap, so you don't need to worry about the legs moving. If you need any minor fidgets or adjustments, feel free to take them. When you feel ready, allow everything to quiet down and find a little bit of stillness. Take a moment to tune into yourself. Bring in a playful sense of curiosity and just check in with yourself. And notice how you are feeling today. Letting go of any judgment and just observing what's there, what's happening for you in your body, in your mind. Notice any feelings, sensations, emotions. Notice how your energy feels today. Does it feel calm and steady, or maybe a little more amped up, a little more anxious? Bring both hands to rest on your belly. Just begin to tune into your breath. A few rounds of breath here. Nice, deep, smooth, and steady breath down into the belly. So breathe in through your nose. Nice, deep breath. Imagine drawing the breath all the way down into the belly and feeling the belly expand, rising up, feeling the hands moving and rising with the expansion of the belly. And then with the exhalation, you feel the hands release and move back down as the belly moves back down and everything moves back in towards the center. So a few nice, deep, smooth belly breaths here, in through your nose, filling up the abdomen, belly, low back, torso all the way around, and then with the exhale, releasing and allowing everything to relax back in towards center. And if you like, with the exhalation, you could exhale out through your mouth. Find a sigh. With the inhalations, drawing in nourishment, fresh oxygen, healing energy. With the exhalations, just letting go of anything you don't need, anything that you're ready to release. I invite you, as always, to bring in the intention to be gentle, kind, patient, loving, compassionate with yourself as you move through this practice. Begin to turn up the corners of your lips into a smile. See what happens. Even if you're not feeling it, just the physical action of smiling can begin to bring in all the happy chemicals into your body. The oxytocin, dopamine, serotonin. And then slowly begin to flutter your eyes open. And then slowly pluck the block out from in between the knees. And you can shimmy the strap off of the legs and push both of those out of the way. And then keeping the knees pointing up to the ceiling, feet planted on the floor, and the feet about hip width. Take the arms down to the sides. Palms can face up or down, you decide. And we'll move into a few rounds of pelvic rocking, nice and easy. As you inhale, begin to tilt the tailbone down towards the mat. You'll feel the low back begin to peel up off of the mat. The heart begin to lift. Then as you exhale, slowly begin to tilt your tail up towards the ceiling. You'll feel the low back and the sacrum begin to root down towards the mat. Back pressing down towards the mat. And then again with the inhalation, tailbone tilts down. Low back, upper back begin to lift up off of the mat. With the exhalation again, tailbone will tilt up. Back presses down towards the mat. And begin to notice what's happening with the head and the neck and allow the head to get involved. Slowly, gently, easily, as you roll yourself through a few more rounds of our pelvic tilts. And then bring yourself back to this neutral spine. And extend the legs down the mat. Reach the arms up overhead. Reach out through the fingers, down and out through the toes. Again, feeling free to yawn or sigh. And then reach up through right fingers, down through right toes, and then up through left fingers and down through left toes. Reach the whole body along, fingers to toes. And then reach up through the left fingers and out through the right toes. So you can lift that right foot up off of the mat, point out through the right toes, reach out, same time reaching out through left fingers. And then release that right foot back down to the mat. We'll switch to the other side. So now lift that left foot up off the mat just a little bit. Reach out through the left toes and up and out through the right fingers. So opposite arm and leg reaching. And then release. Switch it up to the other side again, lifting right foot, left arm, reaching left arm, right foot away from each other, and then release. And then one more time, opposite arm, leg, left foot lifts, reach out through the left toes and up and out through the right fingers. And then release that down, just let everything soften, relax, give the head a few rocks from side to side, maybe windshield wiper feet from side to side. And then walk your feet back in, feet now about hip width again. And then we'll lift the shins up. So bring the shins parallel-ish to the floor. press down through the belly, down through the low back. Reach the arms up overhead. Take a deep breath in, and then as you exhale, legs stay as they are. Begin to reach the arms, head, shoulders, torso up. Reach the arms outside the legs. And shift your gaze up towards the toes or towards the wall in front of you. And then we'll inhale, keep the legs as they are. Arms reach back up and overhead. Exhale, low back presses down towards the mat. You lift yourself up, arms come back outside the legs again. As you curl head, shoulders, torso up. If you need support for the neck, you can take one hand back behind the head. And then we'll lower it back down, legs staying where they are. One more time. Arms reach up overhead, deep breath in. With the exhale, low back presses down, you curl up, arms outside the legs. And then release down, hug knees into your chest. Rock yourself from side to side a few times. And then bring it to center, drop feet down to the mat, take the feet wide to outer edges of your mat, and we'll drop both knees over to the right. Maybe head rolls in opposite direction. And then bring the knees up through center, knees drop over to the left, maybe head rolls over to the right. A couple more times, waving the knees, the head side to side. And then bring your knees back up, feet back in, hip width-ish. Draw knees into your chest. Let's take the arms out to the sides, T formation, and drop both of your knees over to the right. Actually roll your whole body over onto the right side. So whole body over to the right, knees are stacked, and then we'll open into a twist. Begin to peel the left arm open, spin the heart open, left arm reaches over to the left side, finding this spinal twist. Twist is happening from about the rib cage and up. So the pelvis is in a neutral position. And then we'll bring it back over onto the right side. Now roll everything onto your back, and then whole body rolls over onto the left side. Knees are stacked. Then we'll peel the right arm open out to the right side, finding that reclining twist. Bring it all the way back over onto the right side, and then roll yourself over onto your back. And then you find your way up into a comfortable seat. You can rock and roll yourself back and forth and roll yourself up if that works for you. Or you can just roll yourself over to the side, press yourself up into a seated position. Come all the way up and find your way into a comfortable seated position of your choice. And you could sit up on something here to elevate the hips a little bit. Find a nice upright alignment through your spine. So if you feel that you need that, do that. So coming into our seated position, rooting down through the sitting bones and the pubic bone, getting heavy down through the lower body, the feet and legs. Finding some space up through the rib cage, wiggling the sides of the body long, reaching up and out through the crown of your head. Again, turning the corners of the lips up into a smile. Have some fun with your practice. Enjoy this time with yourself. You deserve it. Let's begin to roll the torso over to one side and then forward and then over to the other side and then roll the torso back. Slowly begin to circle your body around. You can make these circles as big or small as you like. You can pick up the pace or you can slow down the pace. Again, checking in with your body. What does it need today? Listening in. If you find any sticky spots where you feel that you need to just stop there, breathe, send your breath into those areas, feel free to do that. And then when you're ready, slowly switch the direction of your circles. And then we'll bring it back to center. Gently rock yourself side to side now. And you can get the arms involved if you like, or just rock the torso from side to side if you like. Maybe the arms reach up and over the head as you move from one side to the other. And sweep the arms overhead, side to side. And then bring yourself to center. And now let's roll the wrists in circles as you lift the arms. Bring the hands towards each other overhead, and then switch direction of the wrist circles and slowly bring the arms back down. And then a couple more times, switching direction of wrist circles, arms slowly rolling and finding their way back up. And then wrists circling around in the other direction as the arms come back down again. Let's do that one more time. Circling wrists, arms reaching up. And then reversing direction of wrist circles, arms come back down. And then we'll slowly find our way over onto hands and knees, coming into our table position. And give yourself a little wiggle, a little rock from side to side. And bring it to center. And now let's move through some cat-cow here. Inhaling as you drop the belly, lift the tail. Heart comes forward, gaze lifts. And then as you exhale, plant down into the hands, press the earth away from you, round your back up towards the ceiling. Look towards your navel, and then a few more. And bring it back to your neutral table, and we'll take it into a dynamic cat-cow. Inhaling, softening belly, lifting tail, finding your way into your cow. Exhaling, rooting down through hands, rounding up through back, and then pull your bum back towards your heels, child's pose. Soften the elbows, pull your heart forward, find your way back through your cow. And then with the exhalation, press into hands, round the back up, pull the bum back towards the feet. And then roll through this a few times, softening elbows, finding your way back into that cow. And then rounding up to the back. Bum pulls back towards heels. And then we'll bring it back into table position. Now come back to sit on heels. If this works for you, Vajrasana. If you have any knee issues, you could sit up on a block or two here, or a bolster, or you could just find another comfortable seat. Bringing hands to the knees or thighs. We'll move into some cat-cow here. So we'll inhale, soften the belly, belly drops forward, heart begins to lift, gaze begins to lift. And then as you exhale, chin drops down towards chest, back begins to round. Front body pulls towards back body. Inhale again as you lift the heart, lift the gaze. And then with the exhale, you round it all back in. You can keep the hands where they are on the thighs as you move through this a few times. Or if you like, you can get the arms involved. Let's open the arms as we find our way back into our seated cow. And then we'll bring the arms towards each other, palms towards each other as we find our way into our seated cat. Inhale, arms come wide, heart lifts. Exhale, round it in. One more time, inhale, arms reach wide. Exhale, curl it in, palms come back together. And then hands come back to knees, thighs. Let's find our way back into our table. And then from our table, we'll find our way into our downward dog. Tuck your toes under, press into finger pads, hug in through the arms. Begin to glide your hips up and back. Downward dog. Let's start with the knees bent. Find some movement here, pedaling out legs or bending, straightening knees. Finding some rocking motion or some pouncing motion. Then we'll bring it into a little bit of stillness, pressing down and out through the hands, rooting down through the heels. Still keeping that big or little bend in the knees if you need it. And then we'll bend knees, crouch ourselves down, glide the hips up, downward dog. Bend the knees, crouch down. Glide the hips up. This time as you do, send your right leg up, also for a three-legged dog. And then we'll bend that right knee, draw it underneath your body. Begin to shift yourself forward, finding the core plank. And then send that right leg back up, three-legged dog. Right foot comes back down to the mat. Downward dog. Bend the knees, crouch down. Then we'll send the left leg up, three-legged dog. Bend that left knee, shift it forward. Knee draws in towards your chest. Press down through the hands. Hug that knee up towards chest. And then we'll send that left leg up and back again. Three-legged dog. And release that foot down. Bend your knees, crunch yourself down. Press down into the feet. Hug in through the legs. Lift up through the belly. Begin to wave yourself forward. Finding your way into plank pose. Lift up through the belly and draw the hips back into your downward dog. Bend your knees, crouch it down. Let's roll it forward again, finding your way back into your plank. Breath or two here. Drawing that belly in and up. Reaching out through the crown of your head, out through the heels. And then lift your hips up and back, downward dog. So walk the hands back to meet the feet. Come into a forward fold at the back of your mat. Again, you could have a bigger little bend in the knees here. Bring the belly to the thighs. We're hinging from the hips. Letting your head go. You can shake the head out, nod the head. Maybe bring the hands to the mat or grab a hold of elbows. Give the elbows a little swing, hips a little sway. And then bring yourself to center. Hands to the hips. Press into your feet. Rise all the way up. Bring it into Tadasana. Let's take palms together at the heart. Now let's take feet a little bit wider than hip distance. Hands to the top of the thighs. Inhale as you lift up your heart. Root down through the feet. Lift the gaze. Exhale as you soften the knees. Begin to slowly hinge from the hips. Slide your hands down the thighs towards the knees and fold yourself in. Press into the feet, press into the thighs. Lift yourself all the way up. Heart lifts. And then we'll fold it back in. Hands slide back down the thighs. Fold yourself in. Press into the feet. Lift it all the way up. Heart lifts, gaze lifts. And then one more time, fold it in, hands slide down the thighs, fold yourself and release the head. Press into the hands and lift yourself all the way up. Let's take the arms out to the sides, palms come together and hands come back down to heart. Walk the feet in, back into hip width distance-ish. So reach the arms up. Soften the knees, fold yourself in. Bend your knees a lot so you can get hands back down onto the floor and walk your hands out. Come back into your downward dog. Bend the knees, crouch it down. Let's roll it forward. Find that plank pose again. Glide hips up and back. Finding that downward dog. Then slowly walk your feet up. Tiptoe, 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 or your way up. Bring it into forward fold, top of the mat. Soften knees, belly to thighs, let your head release. And then hands to hips, press into feet, rise all the way up. And let's take palms together at the heart. Step your feet a little bit wider now. Hands to top of the thighs again. Let's move into a few more of those standing waves. Inhale, lift up the heart as you root down into the feet. Exhale, we'll fold it in. Hands slide down the thighs. Fold yourself in. Head releases. Inhale as you press into the thighs. Lift yourself all the way back up. Open through the heart. Exhale as you pull the hips back. Fold it in. Hands slide down the thighs again. Head releases. Press into the thighs. Lift it up. Heart lifts. And then one more time. Fold yourself in. Press into the feet. Rise up. Bring the feet back into hip width distance. Take the palms back together at the heart. Reach the arms up. Fold it in. Bend the knees a lot. Again, get hands down on the mat. Step it out into your downward dog. Crouch yourself down and let's roll it forward, finding plank one more time. And then from your plank, lift up through the belly, send the hips back, downward dog. Lower the knees down to the mat. You can take knees together or bring the knees wide. Send your bum back to your heels, finding your way into child's pose. Forehead releases down to the mat or make a little pillow with the hands. Release the forehead down to the hands. You can rock the hips from side to side here. Bring yourself back up. Come to sit on your heels. Drop over to one hip and swing your legs around. We'll come back to where we started in our constructive rest position. So again, if you have it, feel free to grab your strap and your block. Slide that strap up around the thighs. Block back in between the knees. Slowly lower yourself down to the mat. Close your eyes if it's okay, or find that soft gaze. Snuggle the shoulder blades underneath you. Maybe give the head a little rock. Bring the head back to center. Let everything relax. Relaxing your feet and your legs, your hips and pelvis, your buttocks and your belly. Relaxing through the torso, back body, front body, the neck, throat, shoulders, arms, hands, fingers. Relax your jaw and your tongue and your face. Cheekbones and temples, forehead and scalp. Relax the crown of the head. Bring one hand to your belly, one hand to your heart. We'll come back to our intention to be gentle, kind, patient, loving, and compassionate with ourselves. As we move through our yoga practice, as we move through our lives. And slowly release your hands. I invite you to stay here as long as you like. Feels pretty good. When you are ready, slowly pluck the block out from between the knees. Remove the strap from around the legs and roll yourself over to one side, finding your way into a fetal position. And then slowly press yourself up. And back into a comfortable seat. Bring your palms together at your heart. Thank you so much for sharing this gentle practice with me today. I hope it helped. With love and gratitude, namaste.